It's the Classic Four presented by Eracism. For the final game from Mobile, Alabama, the matchup brings Myrtle Beach for the Atlantic side. An 18-13 Coastal Carolina team to the Gulf of Mexico's White Sand and 21-11 South Alabama. J.D. Byers, Pat Greenwood, courtside, and Pat, the injuries they are going to factor.
Coastal is good. South is far from it. Their two leading scorers are out with injury. No Charles Manning, no J.J. Chandler. That's 30 points a game the Jags are missing.
And that takes us to our Walk-On Sports Bistro Impact players.
And Mustafa's going to get his, but Coastal needs Rudy Williams to step it up again. 14 points a game, but he had 24 last time out to lead the Coastal Chanticleers win over Florida Coast. He's solid inside and outside that three-point line. Meantime, for Javon Frank, light is squarely on him with no Manning and no Chandler, and he has delivered. A career-high 28 points last time out. He's impressive offensively, maybe more impressive defensively. 41 blocks this season.
Richie Riley, the head coach for South Alabama, going up against his old boss, Cliff Ellis, the series. It's March meeting. Coastal Carolina leads at 8-7. When South Alabama wins in the overall series, it's been tight. 4.3 points the margin. Coastal Carolina, a larger margin when they win. 11.5, and South Alabama gets turns away on their first trip. And here's Coastal Carolina starting five. Vince Cole, the leading scorer. Deba is the disher. And they're joined by Green, Rudy Williams, and Lakai. Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, both of these teams out of the same conference, the Sun Belt. And the shots in the teal, South Alabama, the home team. Lance Thomas get hit from outside. The big man drops it. Only played 5 minutes last time out. And there's the starting five. Carrying the big man, only his sixth start, Lance Thomas. Javon Franklin now the bulk of the offense, along with Jones and Anderson.
But what a start for Shirley. The big man started the same way last game against USC Upstate, but a nice answer there by Williams.
Rudy Williams averages 14.5. The senior from Hamilton, Ontario, and a transfer from Kansas State, and he can distribute the ball as well, scoring there on his second trip, and he's second on the team in assists.
We got a mismatch with Javon Franklin underneath behind Williams. Just got to try and get it to him.
South Alabama's been deadly in the paint with Franklin. In fact, last time out, outscored their opponent inside the paint 44-22, and that was the win against USC Upstate. There's some from just down inside the low block on the turnaround by Alex Anderson.
And I think that's one thing that Javon Franklin has to do tonight is distribute the basketball. They know that he's the guy with no Chandler, with no Manning. The offense is going to run through Javon Franklin, so if he can distribute and be a scorer as well, South Alabama's got a decent shot tonight.
Jags open in a zone and trying to shoot over the top. The three no good. Rebound Thomas. Our officials are KB Burdett, Robert Felder, John Campbell. J.D. Byers and Pat Greenwood courtside from the Mitchell Center. The Jags are the host. Pat, we learned earlier today, winner of this one's going to host the championship round.
Yep, so we got Southern Utah taking on Fresno tonight at 9 o'clock our time. That's out in Fresno, and the winner of this one will host the winner of that one.
Hearing spinning fadeaway from Perth, Australia. From the bench, he had 12 points. I'm sorry, 10 points in 12 minutes, 2 rebounds, about a point a minute. And gets on the board early. The Jags are up by 5. Almost a travel. The duck under. And a foul.
Well, that's just Cole continuing to work underneath, waiting for that open shot, having patience, getting 2 Jags in the air and able to get the free throw line.
It's going to be on Anderson, his first. Frank was also there.
Well, I think that's good for South Alabama that it's not Franklin, that it is Anderson.
It is a 79% free throw shooter, though. And the transfer from St. John's, it's going to go to the stripe for Coastal Carolina. All night long, it's a 69.4% free throw shooting team under head coach Cliff Ellis. The Classic Four presented by Eracism. And this one to see who wins, or actually goes on to face the winner of the Bulldogs of Fresno State and Southern Utah. Jaguar lead cut to 3, and they'll see some backcourt pressure.
Not a bad idea there by Coastal, too. Go ahead. You've got a short-handed South Alabama team. Go ahead and try to make them work to get it up the court and then work in the half-court offense.
Some of that pressure, Pat, may be applied because the Jags are 3 of their last 3.
Yeah, that and you saw the film against USC Upstate. They actually had success pressing South Alabama, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Coastal do that most of the night.
Lance Thomas trying to mimic the Marshall Caring shot. Comes up empty. He does have a three. Coastal Carolina can tie it with a tray. Coastal Carolina averages 7.5 bombs per game, 36%. Here's a long rebound, and Thomas gets out front and likes to run. Pretty nimble for a big guy.
Yeah, he is. But not the guy you want bringing the ball up.
Tyrell Turbo Jones with the ball in the corner. The transfer from Auburn. Jab step. Halfway down and out on the triple.
A good look. Just didn't go down. So if that is open all night for Turbo Jones, he continue to take it.
There's a few extra steps. Jag fans wanted to travel.
Nice assist by you. I don't know if our game camera caught that.
I don't know what kind of technology is over here. I'm trying to preserve the electronics. And
nice job.
Not that on any of it does.
Still have some speed.
Twitchy. One of our favorite words now. Cliff Ellis across the way with the sweater underneath the open sport coat. Got to catch up with him before the game. Cliff Ellis comes in underneath his arm, and I can tell you about this more later because I've been around him so many games. He'll have at least 7 or 8 legal notebooks, legal pads inside a manila folder, and that's his approach to every game, old-fashioned. Travel, and we'll go over now to Coastal Carolina.
Coastal, no field goals in the last 3 minutes, and still only down 3.
Just over 4 minutes into the game, South Alabama's not trailed. And dribbling it out of bounds. Unforced error. Abrima Diba got a little high. And it's going the way with a timeout on the floor. South Alabama, they're up 3. No field goals in over 3 minutes for the Chanticleers. South Alabama up 7-4. The Classic Four, presented by E-Racism, continues from the Mitchell Center in Mobile, Alabama.
Well, you got a shorthanded South Alabama team. Starts early, gets a nice lead, but Coastal Carolina doing exactly what they want to do. And there's that full court pressure.
2-1-2 trap. Turbo Jones able to turn Coastal Carolina away. Kearing's hit threes. And they'll reset the offense out between the circles.
Well, and this is where that lack of Chandler, that lack of Manning is really going to be a problem, trying to get it up against full court pressure all night long.
Franklin almost lost the handle. Low post, splitting a double team, and a foul. Kearing 1 bucket. 68% free throw shooter is going to go to the line, or was that on the floor?
I think it was on the floor.
He was trying to turn and fade away. Yeah, definitely on the floor. It's going to be the first on the Chanticleers' leading scorer, Vince Cole. So 1 team foul, each squad.
Deontay Smith checking in for the first time for South Alabama.
Lance Thomas, the big man in his 10th start of the season, 6'9", transfer from Memphis, will go to the bench. And Shirley also into the game from Mableton, Georgia.
And great positioning there by Garrett Green. He's the guy that's fronting Javon Franklin, going to deny the entry pass, was able to knock it loose.
Hassan Mustafa down on the low blocks and pushing and shoving. They get it into the smalls. Turbo Jones waits. The kick out. Open 3. Only Shirley's 3rd 3 of the year. But his last 2 were in the postseason.
Yeah, it all created because Turbo Jones drives inside, draws 2 defenders, and now you got several people on the outside able to knock down the 3.
South Alabama's biggest lead at 6. Swatted away. That's Franklin. Averages a ton of blocks per game. South Alabama 5 per contest as a team. Drop step. Spinning hook. Into the hands of Diba. Physical game in the paint. Back of the iron. Into the hands of Franklin.
Coastal now 1 of 7 from the field.
Oh, if their last 4 in a scoring drought, that's coming up on 3.5 minutes, partner.
And they've had open looks, too. It's not like they've had bad shots.
Rare miss on the sky spinning hook. That's Kearing's shot, and the Jags just dropped below 50% for the game. Dribble handoff. No look. Mustafa. He can't score. Over the left shoulder.
That's great defense there by Kearing. Just right on Mustafa. Because Mustafa's going to get his points. He's going to get his rebounds. He's one of the best players in the Sun Belt Conference. But Kearing, great defense there. Great positioning to cause some issues.
Franklin. Nice lob pass. Double team. Deep three. A high arcing shot. Count that one for Smith. His 48th triple.
Once again, you penetrate inside the defenders. Outside's wide open.
Last time against Coastal Carolina, he liked the deep ball. He hit 5 trays in a win at Coastal. Mustafa. Uncontested three. South Alabama gets very lucky.
Yeah, those are the shots that Coastal has to hit. They've been wide open shots. They're doing the same thing. You penetrate, you kick it out. But Coastal's just been unsuccessful outside.
South Alabama can go up by double digits here. Guile Consalves comes to the table for the Jags. 2 wait for the Chanticleers across the way. Kearing clears, and the kiss. And South Alabama's up 11.
And created just enough separation between himself and Mustafa. And then he loves that bank shot.
8-0 run for the Jags, spanning 2.5 minutes. Nice ball movement. Mustafa, the feed and the lay-in. Mustafa, an assist. And Rudy Williams, who averages 14.5.
Oh, that's great awareness by Rudy Williams and by Mustafa, seeing him cut to the basket.
Williams had 18 in the first round game, the win over Maryland Eastern Shore, and then he followed it with 23 in the win over Florida Gulf Coast. Cuts it back to a 9-point game at about 8 minutes into the first half. Franklin desperately wanted to get inside. Another three. Smith. One more. He'll have 50 on the season. Out of Fort Walton Beach and a transfer from TCU.
Well, Deontay Smith has had some open looks. That wasn't one of them, but he still was able to put it in.
There's one. Gary Green out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, turns and gave some context to that to the fans sitting courtside here at the Mitchell Center.
A little jawing.
Trying to go alley-oop. That was last touch by Coastal Carolina. Mustafa. Timeout on the floor. With substitutions when we return. 11:24 to go in the first half. Are under 12, and the Jags have doubled up the shots. 18-9. Coastal Carolina getting to the Classic 4 round and a potential berth at the championship. They beat Florida Gulf Coast 84-68. Mustafa 23-14.
And then Williams chips in 24 after that. Meantime, South Alabama with an 83-79 win over USC Upstate and had to play most of that ball game without Charles Manning, who got injured in that one. And Javon Franklin, the guy that really took charge with 28 points.
Mustafa will be on the floor. Big guy mid-post near side. He has 13 double-doubles. And the leader on the glass for the Chanticleers out of Cairo, Egypt. Wearing the number 44, Jags possession with 15 to shoot. J.D. Byers, Pat Greenwood, and our ESPN crew from the campus of South Alabama. And Turbo Jones will trigger in. Jags 58%. Swatted away. Was it kicked? They'll put 20 on the shot clock, touched by Williams. What's impressed you most here, Pat, from South Alabama, up by 9 and led by as many as 11?
Well, they're shooting the ball well. They're 58% from the field. They're 4 of 5 from outside the arc. You know, that's one thing they're going to have to do in order to stay with Coastal Carolina, because again, this is a very short-handed South Alabama team. Now, if you're Coastal, just continue to be patient, continue to play your game. You've got the advantage when it comes to depth. Wear South Alabama down, and then let it go from there.
Franklin with the rejection, his second. There was a mismatch. Mustafa knew it, but didn't count on Franklin flying through the paint.
Well, that's why Franklin's so good. You talk a lot about his offensive skills, as you do with most basketball players, but defensively, Franklin's one of the best.
South Alabama brought Gaio Consalvas into the game wearing number 4. He can get hot from outside. Second leading rebounder. Here's Jones trying to penetrate from up high. 6 to shoot. Will go to the rack, turn it over.
Jones all of a sudden saw 2 teal jerseys towering over him and had no choice. He'd already left his feet.
Nice no look. Mustafa. I think Franklin got a piece of that friendly fire. That will go in.
Yeah, I was about to say, it still wasn't easy, was it?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a 2-footer. That was about the toughest 2-footer you're going to come across.
Mustafa's first bucket. That will cut the Jag lead down to 7. Inside 10 minutes to play in the first half. Wide open, Franklin. He'll take it down with 2 hands.
Well, if he can get loose inside, it could be a long night for Coastal Carolina. First points for Javon Franklin.
South Alabama has 6 assists on 8 made buckets so far.
They're sharing the basketball. They're shooting the basketball well. That's what you got to do when you're a shorthanded team. Try to get that early lead. Try to get that early momentum, and South Alabama's done that.
Abrima Diba averages 8, and the Swede gets to the hole.
But again, if you're Coastal, no panic at all. There's a lot of basketball still to be played. Continue to play your game.
2 Jags and 1 shot to clear. Wait at the table. Shirley's already hit from there once. Comes up short. Diba scores, gets the rebound on the other end. Armbar against Jones. Looking to drive. Udije. Udije down to Mustafa on the reversal.
And that's tough to stop. That's a great feed into Mustafa. And that's what he likes. He's got that size, that strength inside. He's going to be tough underneath.
Udije's from England. Sweden. You got some Cairo, Egypt, and Canada. 3-pointer. Gonsalves. That's what he comes into the game to do. Gaio Gonsalves. That's his 71st 3 of the season for the Brazilian. 75% of his scoring has been from behind the arc. The drive blocked off the backboard. Locked again. My goodness, Franklin plays above the rim defensively. Jones has one blocked. That's rejected by Udije. Finally, the finish. Will Lakai for Portland, Oregon, former Aggie of New Mexico State, into the game, and he's on the board.
Well, that's 3 chances underneath, just working hard there.
Shirley, wide open tray, would have been his 3rd. It's a 6-point game. South Alabama, the winningest team Coastal Carolina's faced. They have fought back from down by as many as 11, as we're now under 8 to play in the first 20 minutes. Into Mustafa. Spinning, the miss. The rebound will go to Smith.
Well, that's the presence of Javon Franklin right there.
Mustafa playing the paint too.
Yeah, Mustafa knowing that Franklin's not going to make it easy, and what should have been an easy shot became much more difficult.
Now 3 Jaguars wait at the table. 1 for Coastal Carolina. Shot clock at 10. Shirley traveled. Will be turnover number 5. Timeout taken. 6-point game. South Alabama shooting 50%. Chanticleers are roaring back early.
There's a look at Javon Franklin. Going to get a nice, well-deserved rest after some great defensive plays there. You know, South Alabama came in leading the conference in blocks, 156 so far. They've got 26 blocks over the last 4 games. And Javon Franklin with 2 tight. Coastal Carolina, though, already has a block as well.
There's a drive and the finish. Scoring at the top of Anderson. And is that part of the game plan for Coastal Carolina with the stud Franklin out of the game?
Oh, hey, look, if Franklin's out of there, you go inside all night long.
4-point game. Kearing swats it out. South Alabama maintains possession. Jones almost slides and travels. There's a block, snaring it. Lakai. And out on the floor, Cole's going to back it out. Rises and fires. Long rebound to Anderson. 3-on-2. Thomas, Euro step. Too strong. Under 6 to play in the first half. Transition 3. Uduje, his 28th of the season, and it's a 1-point game.
Well, all of a sudden the basket's starting to fall for Coastal Carolina. That patience starting to come to fruition. And you figured South Alabama, after that great start, had to come back to earth at some point. And now all of a sudden Coastal just within 1.
The Jags take it inside. Marshall Kearing. Nice roll. Finishes strong at the iron. And the thought just before that, Pat, was the starters were giving you a lot defensively for South Alabama, but not so much offensively. The 2 leading scorers were off the bench, 6 apiece. Shirley and Deontay Smith. Now Kearing's got 6 as well, one of the starters. Baseline reversal for a big guy, Mustafa.
And that's why just able to get one step on Kearing and get the baseline. That'll send Javon Franklin back to the scorer's table, ready to check back in.
That's a half dozen for the big guy, Mustafa. Coastal Carolina looking for a stop and potentially their first lead of the game. Alexander's there. Good hustle in the corner. He's got a mismatch. He gets fouled. Anderson only 53% on the season, and that's Diva's first personal. Correction, Mustafa.
Been a pretty clean game so far. Look at that. Only 2 fouls for Coastal as a team, only 1 for South.
South Alabama does have Javon Franklin at the scorer's table. And Anderson misses his first. Franklin re-enters the game. And he'll replace Marshall Kearing.
Well, I hope if you're Javon Franklin, I hope you enjoy the rest, because there's not many more coming. South Alabama needs him.
Kearing leaves with the 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 points. Anderson missed 1, made 1. 2-point lead. South Alabama, the home team of the white. In the teal, Coastal Carolina. There's your free throw numbers. Only 4 total taken, 2 each team. Step jab, Uduje. Cut off at the low block. Shot clock at 10. Short on the catch. Into the hands of Jones.
Diva had the open 10-footer, but passed it up for the outside shot. I don't think he realized how open he was underneath.
Coastal Carolina not afraid to be behind in this tournament. They trailed at the half to Florida Gulf Coast. Went on to win by 16. Foul.
They're going to get
his
a late whistle. Yeah, you see that hack on the non-shooting hand. And Javon Franklin went up with the left that time.
3rd team foul. 4 minutes, 2 seconds to go in the first half. Alabama can't afford to leave those on the floor, playing without their 2 leading scorers here in the postseason.
Yeah, J.J. Chandler was injured in the season finale against UT Arlington, and then in the last game against USC Upstate in the Basketball Classic, Charles Manning Jr. went down about 8 minutes in. So that's about 30 points the Jags are missing from their lineup.
South Alabama 2 of 4 from the stripe. Anderson applying some backcourt pressure. Diva had very little problem with it. He's the leader in assists with 167 prior to tonight. Contested shot. Almost goaltending. Thomas has the rebound, and he's fouled. Garrett Green, his first, team 4th against Coastal Carolina. Under 4 timeouts. South Alabama up 3. Well, there's an old photo probably from the Mobile Civic Center downtown. Cliff Ellis, former South Alabama basketball coach, and Pat, former athletics director here in Mobile.
Yeah, I was going to say that was from a year ago. Cliff would like that, right?
How about that tie knot?
Yeah, Cliff, the head coach and athletic director, 1975 to 1984. There he is now with Coastal Carolina. And boy, he's had a career. South Alabama, Clemson, Auburn, and now Coastal Carolina. He's been successful everywhere he goes. And just a fine gentleman on top of that.
Can still coach and puts in a 2-3 zone defense. And we told you earlier, an elaborate fighting system, the tons and tons and stacks of yellow legal pads. And a nice defensive effort, sweated away Uduje.
So you're saying he hadn't gone to the IMAC yet?
Far from it. I think you heard about something the other day called a word processor.
That is his IMAC, by the way.
Another rejection. They're going to call goaltending and count it.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Franklin went up and got it, but it was on the way down. So they'll give the bucket to Coastal Carolina.
Just about out of his sneakers. Yeah, that was on the way down. Out of the cylinder on the way down. And goaltending. Nice effort by Javon Franklin. See, at our age, we just use the Velcro. No more shoestrings, right?
That's true. That's true. But Garrett Green doesn't need that. He's all right.
So they'll count the bucket. It's a 1-point game. Coastal Carolina has not led. South Alabama, out of the media, had Smith, Caring, Shirley, each with 6. Only one of those a starter. Mustafa off the bench has 6 as Coastal Carolina's leading scorer. And too strong on the 3. Shirley looking for his 3rd. Here come the shots. Mustafa, so physical. Cole, leading scorer, drops one from dead on. And it's the first lead of the game for Coastal Carolina.
He's deadly from outside the arc, but you see Mustafa thinking when he gets underneath the basket because of Javon Franklin's presence underneath.
Franklin, a rare miss for him in the paint. 2-point lead, Coastal Carolina trying to keep the hammer down. Jags get the rebound, but they're one of their last 8. In 3.5 minutes, they've gone without a field goal. Coming up on 2 minutes to play before the break. It's 10-on-10 across the way. Working it inside. Franklin just put his foot down on the hardwood, came to a stop, and elevated. Tied 1-29.
Franklin just but he plays bigger than that, and he's so athletic underneath.
Diba will run the point. The junior from Sweden. His minutes have gone down. Inside. But he is still electric.
Mustafa wants a foul. I can't blame him.
And Salvis to the hot hand Shirley. He'll drive. Had a lane and a finger roll. That was patience personified. And Salvis launch. Gave it up to the teammate. And a timeout taken by head coach Cliff Ellis. The Chanticleers. 31-29. The Jags retake the lead. Bananas inside.
And that was a good job by Shirley. They call it a Euro step. They used to call it traveling, but now they call it a Euro step. And he's able to get the bucket now at 8 points for Shirley.
He leads all scorers, if I'm not mistaken. You got Cole on the other end with 7. South Alabama gets to pretty much play this tournament at home. And they've been good at home here, partner.
Yeah, 15-2 overall. But against Coastal Carolina, they're 5-1. Coastal's only win here came back, I believe, in 2017 in Mobile.
And per the series, we told you at the go, the Jags, when they win, it's a tighter spread. 4.3 points per game in a victory by South Alabama. Coastal Carolina, it's double digits, 11.5 when they get the W. As Richie Riley, former assistant under Cliff Ellis, 2009, 2011.
And these two had a heck of a ball game in Conway back in February with Caio Gonçalves with a 3 at the buzzer to give South Alabama the win.
It was 68 apiece, and he had a contested 3. Couldn't lose the game. It was the final shot. And Richie Riley wants to bring the team over with 44.5. And if he shoots within 14 seconds, he could get a 2-for-1 possibly.
But yeah, I think the key there, though, you want the 2-for-1, but more importantly, you want the good look. If you get the good look immediately, do it. Otherwise, take some time off the clock. The point is, you got to put some points on the board right now. You're up 2. You've had a good start. You want to continue that good start, and that's why you call the timeout here. Make sure everyone's on the same page.
It's the Classic 4 presented by E-Racism. Glad you're with us on a Monday night in Mobile, Alabama. The winner of this one will face the winner of Southern Utah, 23-11, against Fresno State, 21-13. And that game will be played at the winner of this one. Coastal Carolina or South Alabama, one of these two will host that one to see who takes home the crown.
And it's been a good tournament for the youngsters, especially guys that are coming back next year. They get a chance to figure out exactly how to play with each other and how to be successful. Both these teams have done it.
Looks like they're going with your game plan there. Pat has looked for the good look, not the extra possession. Shot clock's at 5. Jones, well short, saved by Coastal Carolina, but they say he stepped out. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a mental mistake there by Rudy Williams. And, you know, should have just let it go. Hindsight's easy. He's going to say it from here. But Williams stepped on the line as he tried to save it. It was clearly going out of bounds. And now all of a sudden, shot clock is off, and you can play for that final shot.
Should have packed the blue shoes on that win line. And Richie Riley and his staff have been warned several times about that coaching box and how far to stay back. They're going to leave 1 on the shot clock. Time for a tip-in instead because there was not a clear change of possession.
Okay. That's a good call. I didn't think about that.
Wow, 20.5, so they never saw the 1. And the coaching staff didn't communicate it either.
Just a miscommunication there, and so what could have been a really bad play there by Rudy Williams turns out to not hurt him, and now Coastal will get the last shot.
I think Gonçalves looked a little upset, but somebody's got to be in the ear. 2 hands on the shooter trying to get him to the free throw line. Diba's 79% on the season. Diba, the start in this game, it's a foul to give, forcing the inbound.
Well, South Alabama's got they got a ton of fouls to give, so not a bad strategy. Just go ahead and foul him here again. Don't let him get a shot.
Diba played 34 minutes from the bench last time, and he dished 9 assists in the win over Florida Gulf Coast while scoring 10. Into the corner. This one's turned over. 3.4, and the Jags have numbers. And may have shot a little early. Javon Franklin rocks that one off the rim. We played 20 minutes. Coastal Carolina had a momentary lead at the 2:33 mark on a Vince Cole tray. Otherwise, it's been all South Alabama. 31-29 as the teams head into the locker room. It's the Classic 4, and it will continue for Mobile, Alabama. At the half, 31-29, Jaguars. South Alabama led by 12 at the 8-minute mark into the game. Tyler Shirley off the bench to lead South Alabama with 8. Vince Cole, 7 for Coastal Carolina, but only 1 for 5 from the arc. The Coastal Carolina, Pat, was better.
Well, let's show you the first half highlights. See what's happening. How about Javon Franklin getting it done in the paint? Nice job inside. Marshall Kearing has the dunk as well. And then Tyler Shirley, what a game he has had. 8 points as he hit the 3 from outside the arc. But you talked about Unijay outside. His 3 is good. Mustafa, so good inside. Nice up and under. 6 hard-fought points for him. There's Cole, 3 of his 7. Hits it from outside the arc. And then the nice drive by Rudy Williams. And Coastal Carolina, a great end of the first half to narrow this gap.
First half stats brought to you by Planet Fitness. Both teams 40% or better. Jags with a couple of more threes, one more attempt. No points off turnovers. There's only been 10 overall. South Alabama's coughed it up 6 times. Coastal Carolina with 4, but look at the lead time. Coastal Carolina had a very momentarily 2-point lead. Out of Vince Cole 3, but inside the paint. Half-dozen point advantage for Coastal Carolina.
And that's more impressive for South Alabama when you think that their 2 main stars are gone. J.J. got injured in the season finale. Charles Manning got injured in the last game against USC Upstate. So 43% of South Alabama's offense is not on the floor tonight. You're talking over 30 points a game.
And look what Manning can do for you. It's the points, but also the assists. He led in so many categories. And hurt last time out. He was kind of contesting a lob on an inbound underneath, but it was at midcourt. It was that hustle kind of play, and sometimes that bites you.
Yeah, it looked like a route play too. And no, he left over that line. He is on the bench tonight with a boot, but here's what's happening. South Alabama 14-2 when they're leading at the half. The shot 4-8 when trailing. So you know, if that first half indicates anything, it's good for South Alabama, but they're going to have to keep the intensity. This is again a short-handed South Alabama team. This is a much deeper Coastal Carolina team, at least with the roster they've got.
Both of these squads lost in the first round games of their conference tournament in the Sun Belt in Pensacola, Florida. But Pat, they can both say they're both of the last college basketball teams playing in South Carolina and the state of Alabama.
Yeah, well, there are 8 teams total playing right now. You have, of course, the Final Four happening in New Orleans next week, and then the Final Four here in the Classic Four as Javon Franklin steps onto the floor. 5 points, 2 of 5 from the field. And he's got a couple of blocks to his credit as well.
Shots to inbound near court. J.D. Byers, Pet Greenwood from the Mitchell Center in Mobile. Coastal Carolina fought back from down 12. 14-point swing to take a 2-point lead. The trail by 2 at the half. Cole around Alexander. He's so quick. Opening up the outside shot, won't go, and carrying with the rebound. Very strong hands for the big guy.
Well, nice job inside out for Coastal Carolina. You get the good look that you want, but you got to be able to knock those down.
Carrying not a lot of starts. He's led the team in scoring once, rebounding 3 times, turnover, almost a foul. An easy lay-in for Debo.
But just a lazy pass there by Turbo Jones, and didn't get past Deba, and now all of a sudden we get a tie ball game.
Bremen Deba has reached double figures in 5 of the last 6, 4 games consecutive. Deba now with 4, only 2 buckets. 1 minute into it. Slapped out of bounds. Eric Green wasn't under any kind of pressure to step out over there, just lost the inline.
And lost track of where he was. Only the 5th turnover, though, by Coastal Carolina. And you see, yeah, just no need to go that deep to get the basketball, but he did. Only 7 turnovers by South Alabama. So it's been a pretty clean ball game both ways.
South Alabama lost track of a shot clock towards the end of the first half. Overshot that one inside. Coastal Carolina loses it. 4-on-2. And Franklin was never sure what he was going to do with the basketball. Commits a charge. He was foul-less in the first half. Franklin's first foul comes early in the second half, and the first team foul against the Jaguars.
Well, good awareness by Mustafa, knowing that Franklin is coming hard at him, and then Franklin, seeing Mustafa at the last second, leaves his feet. Once you leave your feet, you're in no man's land, and that's what happened as Mustafa, good job to draw the charge.
Kept those heels just outside the restricted area, and we're tied at 31. Macheting his way, rejected by Thomas, and it was an error. The attempt to bring it back down. Turbo Jones scoreless, 0 for 4, directing the offense, 3 assists.
So if Jones can get going offensively, you got to feel good about what South Alabama can do. There's 2 on Mustafa.
1 team foul each squad here early in the second half. Check out Thomas. Came down on the head of the shooter. He was wanting a foul call.
That's a 6'9" Lance Thomas using every bit of what he was given.
Marshall Kearing almost over the back, no whistle. Ahead. Jags get back defensively. Cole, his 3 in the second of the game. This is Coastal Carolina's biggest lead at 3, 34-31.
Cole now in double figures. First player in this ball game to hit double figures.
Coastal Carolina's 4th triple. Thomas jump stop, wild shot, flips it out to Kearing. There's where that length comes in handy. Kearing, hook won't go.
Now this is where Manning and Chandler usually take some pressure off the guys that are on the court right now. Neither available. And how about the move by Rudy Williams? Nice drive.
Williams and the Jags just didn't get back defensively near fast enough. And timeout, Richie Riley over. Trailing in the game by 5. Javon Franklin, last 5 games, what he's meant to this program, especially with key players dropping. J.J. Chandler in the last home game of the regular season. And then Manning has really stepped it up.
And that's 11 blocks entering tonight. He's got 2 this evening. But coming off that career high against USC Upstate to put South Alabama in this semifinal matchup. And boy, you talk about a guy who has another year of eligibility back here at South Alabama next year. The transfer from Auburn really, as the season has progressed, has become more and more vital to this program.
7 double-doubles this year. And tonight rather, enters the game with 21 games scoring in double figures on the season. Turbo Jones, the other transfer from Auburn.
Challenge right now for South Alabama. They haven't scored in the second half.
Franklin, the no look out to Shirley. Kearing, snared from behind, Mustafa. Behind the elbow, and rattling it in is Williams.
That'll send Caio Gonzalez to the scorer's table by trying to get some 3-pointers out of him. Because South Alabama now down 9-0 here in the second half.
Williams with 8, Cole with 10. And Williams has been good in this tournament. There's Franklin, high out the window.
And you go at Mustafa, who has 2 fouls. That's not a bad move there by South Alabama. Franklin's going to have to continue to produce, but they really need Turbo Jones to start putting some points on the board.
There's an elbow and a charge. Mustafa's just picked up his 3rd with 15:58 to play.
Good positioning there by Marshall Kearing. The defender has ever played basketball as well, and short an extension elbow, and that caused the foul. That will give as we go to the break. South Alabama trailing by 5.
It's a big event there just before the timeout. Hassan Mustafa picks up his 3rd personal foul. A guy who has 13 double-doubles this season and a big part, even though he comes off the bench for Coastal Carolina.
Needs 8 rebounds to move into 4th place all-time in that category. He's got 5 tonight, but he's on the bench right now. That's a big deal for Coastal.
And normally is a starter, just to be clear. And there's Franklin exploiting the absence of Mustafa, finishing in the hole, making it a 3-point game.
But with 3 fouls and 15.5 to go, the right move is to sit him for a little while. And this is the opening for South Alabama to start pounding it inside.
Garrett Green. Ball tipped away and a forced turnover. Jones initiated it. A 3 to tie the game. Coming up on 5 minutes into the second half. The winner plays for the championship of the Classic 4, presented by E-Racism. Open, taking it is Smith, and he's short.
It was a good look by Smith. He was 2 for 3 from outside the arc, but just off the mark there.
Lakai working it inside. Smith left his feet. Almost cost him. Jump ball. The arrow should give it to South Alabama with 9 to shoot. It's going the other way.
Well, it's good defense there, and again, just a little bit of indecision for Coastal as to what to do once they got inside, and then Cole just lost control of the basketball, and that was all he could do to get it back.
Big-time tenacity is a good word to describe the efforts of Tyler Shirley, the freshman from Mableton, Georgia. Prior to this tournament, had not appeared in a game since February 12th against Arkansas State, but he's kind of been that next man up due to injury. Coastal Carolina playing without Deshaun Thomas, who's hurt. Blocked his shot, came down on his knee against Coastal Carolina. He was wounded in action. And there's a foul away from the action. Javon Franklin was really mixing it up, and Lakai got in on him. And they'll put the foul on Will Lakai, the transfer from New Mexico State, his first.
Well, especially with Mustafa out, it's a matter of who's going to be the guy on Franklin. Franklin trying to get that body positioning. And those two are really going at it. It could have been called either way, to be honest with you. But typically, that type of foul will go to the defensive guy.
This will be a short timeout. 30-second variety. Coastal Carolina has hit 3 of their last 3, but not getting shots off when you turn it over 3 times in 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Kind of the latest flow of the game. That's been the storyline.
And you look at what Coastal Carolina has done in the postseason. A couple of trips to the NCAA tournament. They've gone 4 times, yet to win an NCAA tournament there. They've been to the CIT. They've been to the CBI as well. Had some success in the CBI.
Cliff Ellis, the legend of many programs, and I call him basketball coaching royalty.
Oh, there's no doubt.
What he's done at Clemson, at Auburn.
The only collegiate coach to win at least 170 games at 4 D1 programs. Think about that. Clemson, Auburn, Coastal Carolina, South Alabama. He has been everywhere and has been very good everywhere he's gone.
Turbo Jones on the inbound from underneath. He'll get it into Smith. Gonzalez trying to mimic the shot he had to win it at Coastal Carolina on the buzzer beater. That was the only game these two teams played in the regular season. The other was canceled on this floor due to illness between the two programs.
Just a rush shot on that end by Coastal, or by Gonzalez, and I thought a rush shot there by Coastal.
Gonzalez is scoreless, by the way. 0 for 1. He's in the corner. Shirley feeds it to him. Shirley had jumped out to the early scoring lead. And a turnover ahead. Here comes Rudy Williams to the hole. And he'll finish. Coastal Carolina back up by 5.
How about
2
that,
off their biggest lead.
How about that late acceleration there by Rudy Williams? He checked up just a bit, sees Tyler Shirley coming, and then just darts right past him. It wasn't an easy layup, but he made it look easy.
Shirley a bomb. And the official turned and watched the ball. There was a collision. But the official turned and looked at the rim. You were talking about Rudy Williams. 7 20-point games. This is out to Green, trying to answer the Jag 3. Here comes Turbo Jones. We've played just over 7 minutes of the second half. And Franklin just took one to the chin.
Yep, there's going to be another one on Lakai. Well, what Lakai is
arguing,
arguing,
a hole looked like an uppercut.
Yeah, what Lakai is arguing is that, yeah, look, he got me, but I got him, but he's getting me first. And that's what Lakai's argument is you can't hold me and then you call the foul on me.
I saw the arms fly, so in slow motion I would correct myself. But what a turnover, snagged by Udije.
But again, most of the time, the defenders are going to get that foul called on them.
Udije around a defender, stops at the elbow. Turnover into the passing lane, snared by Smith. 2-on-2, and Smith will circle it out. 2-point game. Shirley on the catch, 2 to the new line. Shirley with 13.
And 4 from outside the arc.
14. And South Alabama's retaking the lead on their 7th triple. Dead ball timeout at the next whistle. to the hole.
That's that acceleration again.
Another lead change. Rudy Williams, who averages 14.5, and he's almost there. That's a dozen for the senior from Hamilton, Ontario. Transfer from Kansas State. Finished with the third best three-point percentage in the conference. That guy was pretty good too. Gaio Gonsalves. He'll drop one in from the corner.
8 3-pointers now for South Alabama. And if Gaio Gonsalves can get hot, that could spell trouble for Coastal Carolina. They got to get Mustafa back in.
Franklin tried to contest the three. How about Coastal Carolina? Udije. He's now got 6. His second three. 1-point game. Franklin spin move to the inside. Viciously rocks the rim with the right hand. And the crowd at the Mitchell Center comes into it. And the Classic Four to see who plays for the championship on Thursday night. Little jab step. Working it to Green. Shot clock at 10 and turned over. Too strong. Off the fingertips of Udije. Top. Gaio Gonsalves dropping one in. And the answer on the other end. It's a 1-point game. Richie Riley has taken his team back to the postseason. NCAA tournaments, 8. Beat Alabama in 89. The shot that rolled the tide, that's at the old Omni, which no longer exists in Atlanta.
That's the lone win for South Alabama in the postseason when it comes to the NCAA tournament. Haven't been since 07. They lost to some team called Butler. I think that was pretty good that year.
Actually, the win in the first round of this tournament was the first postseason win since that win over the Crimson Tide. Anderson feeds it outside. Shirley almost drops in another one.
Mustafa back in for Coastal Carolina. Now Gaio Gonsalves, the guy that's on it.
3/4 of the way through this one. It looks like it could go down to the end. Tight 1-point contest. Shirley goes between the legs. Anderson is there. Spinning short. The jam won't go. Trying to stick it back in was Franklin. Up and under move and a foul. Looking at Udije, it would be his second. They're putting on Lakai, his third.
Well, that's never giving up. How about Javon Franklin skying over everybody, who just hit the back of the iron. But Anderson there to pick up the pieces. He'll get to the free throw line. And that's good hustle there by the Jags.
So Lakai, 3 fouls, and he's got 5 boards. He's been a big part of this Coastal defense. Anderson has been at the free throw line, 1 of 2, 4 rebounds, just 3 points in this start. The freshman from Memphis got to the postseason and wore his older brother's number.
He's typically number 12 during the regular season, but in this basketball classic has been number 3.
And he can make it a 3-point game with 9:34 remaining. It's a sideways spin on that shot.
Yeah, it doesn't look the prettiest, but it goes. They got 1 or 2.
Jags played a lot of the first half in zone, come up with a turnover, ahead to Smith. It's 10 on 10. And the lay in and the friendly roll at home. Smith's got 8. Coastal Carolina, meanwhile, has been 6 of their last 8 from the floor when they don't turn it over. They've had 3 in 2 minutes.
Yeah, the turnovers have been a problem. Now you got Mustafa setting up the high pick.
Green likes to go left. He gets cut off by Gonsalves. Back out to Green. Probably could have picked up a foul. They got the shot off. Gonsalves with a rebound.
Great positioning there by Gonsalves, blocking out Garrett Green and getting to that defensive board.
That's Gonsalves' first rebound of the game. South Alabama led by 12, 8 minutes into the game, back in the first half. We're narrowly up at intermission. Smith went amongst the bigs, couldn't complete it. Bad pass and a turnover. 3-on-2. Here's Shirley. Javon Franklin was in the right spot at the right time.
Well, that's the beauty of those long threes. Usually it's a 50-50 ball coming off of it.
Richie Riley saying just slow it down, get into the play, but the shot clock's at 6. From the elbow, Franklin's got his back to the bucket. Squares. Dishes. Alexander never got the shot off. The under 8 medium. South Alabama leading by 4. It's Coastal Carolina's ball. 94 feet from their bucket when we return. Jaguar defense giving up 64 a game, just less. 34th in America. Pretty good number. And actually holding Coastal Carolina to only 1 offensive rebound in this game and no second chance points.
And it's a smothering defense again, and this is all without numbers 1 and 2 on your roster. And J.J. Chandler and Charles Manning Jr., guys like Javon Franklin. You see Kyle Gonsalves there. Deontay Smith coming off the bench, making a difference on both ends of the floor. But Franklin is the guy that the spotlight has been squarely on. But can Mustafa and the other shot that clears make something happen? 7:45 to go. They're only down 4.
Mustafa, 6 points, 6 rebounds. He's also dished 3 assists. Well, he factored. He doesn't want to get in foul trouble with 3 and 7:37 remaining in the game. J.D. Byers, Pat Greenwood from Mobile, Alabama in a Classic 4. The winner plays for the championship. And Franklin reaches in on Mustafa. Franklin's second foul. Only team foul number 2 against the Jaguars.
And there weren't many team fouls against Alabama or Coastal Carolina for that matter in the first half either.
That was on the floor. They'll put 20 on the shot clock in Mustafa. Correction, Williams. I couldn't see Williams for Mustafa. And he's big. Shot clock at 9. Jags back in the zone. The kick out. Over the back. Oh, Mustafa just picked up his 4th. He says he went straight up and down. I'm not sure he's incorrect. He looked to go straight up. Had a player back into it. It was kind of bang, bang, checking it out.
It's that swat.
Came across the top of the head, yeah.
Yeah, it's that swat with his left hand. If he goes up with both hands strong, I think he gets with it.
Good point.
But he swatted the back of Franklin's head. You're going to get that call every time.
Under 7 minutes to go in the contest. Mustafa leaves the game. Replaced by Isaac Hippolyte. The 3. Gonsalves. Isaac Hippolyte 2 years ago averaged 17 minutes a game at a 41% shooter. Can he find his touch here in a semifinal game? Isaac Hippolyte on the floor, senior from Spring Valley, New York. He's been around the program his entire career.
Almost a 5-minute scoring drought by Coastal Carolina. Finally broken there.
Vince Cole. That's his 83rd 3 of the year.
Wow.
Just remarkable. Smith looks left. Under 6 to play. 4-point game. Jags with the possession in the white. Alexander fading away, and he got a lucky bounce.
That's good body control by Anderson. And the shooter's touch to make it happen.
Udije with the basketball. Hippolyte lost the bounce. And they say Coastal Carolina touched it last.
Well, he never got space along the baseline. South Alabama started that baseline very well. Once he loses the basketball, it's just a turnover. But how about body control by Anderson? Just like he drew it up, right?
That was pretty tenacious. Another word of the version of tenacity I used earlier. Felt pretty fancy about it. 15th turnover of the game for the Chanticleers. And Mustafa's coming to the table. Wants to report in with 4 fouls and about 5.5 to go in the game. Working it inside. Franklin, the handoff. And he traveled. Surely, too many steps. Trying to slash and cut his way into the paint.
Well, and I agree with Cliff Ellis here. Just put Mustafa back in. Let him play with 4. You got to have your big guy in. You know, he's a guy that is used to a lot of points, a lot of rebounds. And so far tonight, got 6 points, 6 rebounds.
His shoulder width is like half the paint wide. Coming up on 5 to play. Mustafa, and he got it. Franklin didn't want to pick up his 3rd.
I think it was a good play by both of those guys. Mustafa, you get it in there and pound it at the glass. And if you're Franklin, give him some friction, but don't create the foul.
South Alabama has 3 more threes, but Coastal Carolina shooting at a higher clip, 47%. The Jags from the floor, 43%. Franklin double team. He'll go between them. Slapped out. Shirley's there, and he'll feather one off the rim. Rebound, Mustafa. Trying to cut into the Jag lead and a finger roll.
What a job by Rudy to avoid the charge, because Caio Gonzalez was camped out there waiting for the contact, and he just started right past him, did Rudy Williams.
Richie Riley's screaming timeout. Finally got the whistle. There will be 20 to shoot, 4:13 to play. They'll take the media here. South Alabama nursing a 2-point lead late. So out of the call, it was the media timeout within 15 seconds of the 4. So the last media timeout taken is Gonzalez. NBA range 3 won't fall.
And not a great look there by Caio Gonzalez. He has that range clearly, but he still had 12 on the shot clock. Not a great look.
Mustafa was wanting a foul. Debo will draw the foul. He'll put that on Anderson. That's his 2nd. It's on the floor. And the next one would put Coastal Carolina in the 1-1. Coastal Carolina down as Richie Riley, other end of the floor, surveys. 21 to shoot. Cole and Gonzalez on his back. Couldn't get it to go.
That's one of those that he realized all of a sudden how open he was. You got to be able to knock that down.
Jaguars, the lead and the possession up 2. Franklin wanting to drive. Mustafa didn't want to foul out of the game with 3.5 to play. Had to let him go.
Well, that's where South Alabama's going to have the advantage. Dump it inside to Franklin, go against Mustafa. He should have a clearer path to the basket.
Cliff Ellis across the way, on his feet, shouting instruction to his Chanticleers. Inside, Mustafa, the elbow and the finish.
That's a good spot to see Mustafa along the baseline. And then he knew where the defense was coming. A little up and under.
He's at double digits, 10.6 rebounds, under 3 now to play. So he had to give up 2 on one end, and he was the guy to get the 2 back. Franklin on Mustafa again. And the roll. Javon Franklin, 14.
That's going to be
15.
Yeah, it's going to be there all night with Mustafa with 4. That should be your go-to if you're South Alabama.
7th bucket for Franklin, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Jags back in a matchup zone. Mustafa drop step over the left shoulder, and he's fouled. Mustafa's 62% shooter, has not been to the line in this one.
It's been fun watching those two battle all night as Javon Franklin gets called for foul number 3 on him.
2-shot foul from Mustafa plus a 1-on-1 bonus for a while. Halfway down and out. And Cliff Ellis can only watch. '16th meeting between these two programs. Coastal with a 1-game lead all time. He's both. Offensive rebound. The first of the game, and the tray's no good. Franklin with a strong rebound on the block.
Now, if you're South Alabama, slow it down, take some time off the clock. You guys still have to obviously put some points on the board, but time becomes your friend.
2 minutes to play. South Alabama in the first 2 rounds of this had a 20-point, then a 17-point lead evaporate, only to hold on and narrowly win. This one's been tight since 8 minutes into it.
They're going to look and see exactly who that was off of, but you look at those guys: Krzyzewski, Boeheim, Huggins, Calipari, and Cliff Ellis, rightly so, in the middle of all those guys when it comes to all-time wins. Mike Krzyzewski was at 12:01 prior to this weekend, and now in his final year, getting ready to go to the Final Four in New Orleans.
Sets a record for most Final Four trips at Duke. So congratulations to him, Syracuse, and the Orange with Boeheim.
But what a treasure Coastal Carolina has in that guy, Cliff Ellis, who was instrumental in getting South Alabama basketball off the ground in the mid-'70s and early '80s.
And he's led the Chanticleers to 4 NCAA tournament appearances, never a win. Some of the CIT and CBI, 3 trips to the CBI. Still with the energy and the knowledge galore. The guys forgot more about basketball than probably the entire conference of head coaches.
So after the review, they did indeed say it was off of Anderson. So Coastal Carolina ball, 1:49 to go.
Coach, I'm not saying you forget anything. I'm just saying. So the Jags will use Turbo Jones, Franklin, Gonsalves, Smith, Alexander. Deba on the floor, Williams, Mustafa, Vince Cole, and Lakai.
Of course, Ellis taught Richie Riley a thing or two, as Riley was an assistant under Cliff Ellis at Coastal Carolina for a couple of seasons.
Hesitation drive, double team. Lakai with it. Foul on Turbo Jones. With a player attacking his first. Fans didn't like it.
But still another foul to give for South Alabama.
Deba from between the circles. Under a minute and a half remaining. The 3, Pat, did he need that 3? I was kind of amazed to see they would take the outside shot, but it's a 1-point game and it works. 7th 3 of the game for Coastal Carolina.
Now you're looking at timeout situations. Coastal with 2, South Alabama with 1.
Lakai, he's got 5, his first 3 of the game. Under a minute, shot clock at 10. Gonsalves, Alexander, the follow-up. A rebound and a bucket. South Alabama by 3 and a timeout, Cliff Ellis. And the crowd getting into it as the Jags come to the bench. Is this where the older ball coach says, I taught him everything knows, but I know everything I know.
And Alex Anderson, though, he had a big play like that against USC Upstate in the last game. A nice rebound and put back toward the end of that ball game that helped seal the win for South Alabama. And again, the work the offensive board by Alex Anderson. And it's a 60-57 ball game. Plenty of time still to play. And if you're Coastal Carolina, you don't have to have the three-pointer here. If you get to look at the three-pointer, go ahead and take it. But you got to get an open look at the basket. For South Alabama, defend like you haven't defended all night. And whether it's a shorthanded team in South Alabama or not, which they are very shorthanded, now all of a sudden it doesn't matter anymore because you got less than a minute to go. And you're hanging in with a much deeper Coastal Carolina team.
They're looking at the back of Alex Anderson in that huddle, wearing his older brother's number, the freshman 6'6" from Memphis. 4 points at the start last game. Played 29 minutes, no rebounds, but shot 2 of 4, and he's really risen to the, knowing his minutes are going to go up with since some.
And just look at Mustafa with the bucket. Javon Franklin goes right back at him. These two have been gone at it all night. There's Mustafa again. There's Franklin again. It's been fun to watch. 13 for South Alabama, 44 for Coastal Carolina. And the numbers right now, Franklin with 15, Mustafa with 10. He's got 4 fouls, does Mustafa. But at this point, less than a minute to go. If he's your guy, get it to him. You just got to get an open look if you're Coastal.
Coastal Carolina has hit 5 of their last 7 and will have it in their front court on the near sideline. Vince Cole, who leads the team in scoring, will trigger it in. Cole with 13, including 3 threes, 2 in the second half. Mustafa up high. Diba backs out. Shot clock at 10. Cole guarded by Smith. Shot clock at 6. Up high, 5 to shoot. Cole, 3 strong off the iron. He wanted a whistle. Bounce pass out of bounds, and a big collision across the way. Bodies go flying, and they say possession South Alabama, at least for now.
Well, it wasn't a situation where Caio Gonçalves needed to get that ball. It was going out of bounds, but as he did, he found a Coastal Carolina player to bounce off. And it was
look out, Coach Ellis.
Yep.
Look out, Nachos.
But that's a big, big play for South Alabama. They now have the basketball. Shot clock off with 24 to go.
Look out, Daryl Oren.
Yeah, and Mustafa on that play went right into the benches. Here's hoping he's okay. But, man, that hurts. You're going full speed after the basketball. And you've got
hey, look, I stopped a basketball with one hand over here earlier. I didn't get it near the sympathy. That does. He's in some pain now, and I'm not trying to take away from it, but he was smiling for a minute. Now he's rubbing that lower patella.
Yeah, you got the hard seats behind the scorer's table, and you've got obviously the movable chairs on the bench. Not exactly sure where he landed, but either way, that hurts.
Deshaun Thomas, not completely similar. He was coming off a block shot, and in the last game, the 6'9" big man senior from Columbia, South Carolina, an LSU transfer, went down hard. He's not able to play. He's out injured. And kind of a similar thing here where Mustafa, that's a lot of man coming out of the floor, and he kind of went in between that last seat right before the bench, narrowly missing his head coach.
Well, he needs 4 more rebounds to get to that double-double area, and yeah, every time they touch it, he's.
They say some ball on view.
Let's see where he landed.
Oh, we may have twisted it next to the trash can there.
Yeah.
Did you see how the sneaker kind of stayed in place?
And it's going to take him at least to the training table behind the benches, maybe even back to the locker room. So that's a big turn of events. So South Alabama with the basketball up 3. Shot clock is off. And a chance to salt this thing away with Mustafa on the bench.
Mustafa stays on the floor to see his team. He's in that far corner. A cover and a foul applied by Abrima Diba. Seventh foul.
Well, and talk about a tough guy. Guess who's checking back into the ballgame? Right there, 44 says, you know what? My team needs me. I'm going to play through it.
He was grimacing, and it may be defense for offense here, Pat. If he could collect 1 rebound, even if he can't get to the other end of the floor, they may sub him out.
That's true. Because at this point, you're getting to that point where you need the threes.
And they get the miss they needed. He's getting up the floor pretty good. And Alex Anderson will have to foul with the shot clock off and then come over and
well, it's smart
help
because
his opponent up.
You have a foul to give. So don't let him get the open look. Now everything's going to be a 1-and-1. But even then, if you foul him, don't let the three-point shot happen. So don't be surprised to see South Alabama commit another foul. You don't want to give up the open look and a three-point shot.
South Alabama by 3, but you look at personnel here, Pat, down the stretch. The Chanticleers have shown the personnel, a ton of guys can step out and hit the 3. Cole's got 3. Mackay has hit one in the second half. It was kind of a surprise when they left him open. It looked like on purpose. South Alabama with 9 triples, but Coastal Carolina with 7, which is right about their average per game.
And Rudy Williams can hit the 3. Hasn't taken a shot from three-point range tonight. Wouldn't be surprised to see number 3 try to get an open look here.
He's hit 46 on the season. What a tournament he's had. He's held at 14. Round 1, he had 18. And they had 23 last time out in that 84-68 win over Florida Gulf Coast that landed him here in the semifinal. The winner plays for it all Thursday night. You can catch it on ESPN Plus of the Classic 4 presented by E-Racism. No shot clock. J.D. Byers, Pat Greenwood. Down the stretch of the Mitchell Center in Mobile. Diva guarded by Gonsalves. Rising for the 3. Cole got it! Big time shot. Team's leading scorer has tied the game at 60.
How about it? Your leading scorer, give it to him.
And South Alabama gets in the front court with 6.7. This was a game tied at 68 in the regular season in Conway, South Carolina. And that guy, number 4, hit the game winner at the buzzer. Could he be the hero for the second time this year?
And it's playing out just like it did in Conway. And for South Alabama, Richie Riley, you have playbook. Oh, you score a 3. What a turnaround shot by Cole with Deontay Smith in his face.
Yeah, it wasn't bad defense.
No.
He raced out.
Hey, look, if you're playing defense there, you say, look, make your shot. That's exactly what Cole did. Now, for South Alabama, just get a shot. It doesn't matter whether it's a 2 or a 3. Obviously, you've got Javon Franklin going up against Mustafa. Wouldn't be surprised to try to get it into him because Mustafa playing with 4 fouls. If nothing else, you draw the foul on him.
Doesn't look like Shirley wearing the 24 would be coming in. He's got 4 threes, the most on the team. So do you figure if the hot hand's not in, do you design it for the guy who would be most confident at Salvis considering what he did last time against the Chanticleers?
Yeah, you could, but again, don't take the 3, in my opinion. Don't take the 3 unless you have to.
Yeah.
If you can get a good-looking 10-footer,
get fouled,
draw a foul, do all sorts of things. If the 3's there, take it. But to me, I try to penetrate in, and I give it to Javon Franklin working against the guy that's going to have 4 fouls in Mustafa.
Alexander, Franklin, Gonsalves, Turbo Jones, and Smith. The only starter not on the floor for the Jags from the beginning of the game is big man Marshall Kieran. From near the midcourt stripe, Jones. 3 to play. Jones, skip pass. Fade away. Nope, we're going to overtime. Tied at 60. Richie Riley looked a little confused on the execution. Felt his team may have gotten into that just a little late.
Yeah, I thought it did take a little bit of time to get there, but either way, we're headed to OT.
Time on the clock. We'll go to the first extra period when we return to Mobile, Alabama. $17 threes hit.
That about sums it up, doesn't it?
That's Southpaw, the name of the Jaguar logo, and he's pretty tuckered out after 40 minutes. We're tied at 60. 17 threes hit between these two. Jags with 9. 42% for the regulation. South Alabama 48% for the game. Coastal Carolina couldn't find the ocean from the end of a pier in the first half and have really fought back. They want to get to this championship game, Pat.
And both teams playing hard, and it was a great shot by Cole with about 10 seconds left. And then South Alabama with the basketball a little late in their execution. couldn't get the equalizer. Now we go to OT.
South Alabama controls the tip. Mustafa with a sore knee and 4 fouls on the floor for Coastal Carolina.
And that 4 fouls, that looms big. Nobody in foul trouble for South Alabama. Franklin with 3, but still not in grave danger yet.
Two teams so well conditioned. There's Franklin, the flush on the roll, and Turbo Jones with the assist.
He was able to roll off of Mustafa and had the size advantage. Nice dish inside to make it happen.
17 now for Franklin, well above his average at a dozen. He's been so good in the postseason. Now 22 games scoring in double figures for Franklin. Cole, who hit the 3 to tie it. He's in the paint. 7 on the shot clock. Mustafa, the feed, the jumper, floater, got it. Abrima Diva.
Good patience by Coastal Carolina. They had a couple of opportunities down underneath, but those opportunities closed quickly, and they didn't rush it.
Just over a minute into the first overtime. Smith, the catch and shoot is short. Looking for the 10th Jaguar 3. Smith. Was he pushed or did he step out?
I think he called timeout.
Wow, that's a heads-up play.
Yeah,
his inertia was going into the Coastal Carolina bench.
And that was smart. Smith.
Just telegraph. That's where that length. Such a variable. The long arms.
And it gives possession back to South Alabama. 3:44 to go. Again, Mustafa with 4. You got to imagine he's going to remain on the floor. 2 players for South Alabama. Alex Anderson has 3. Javon Franklin has 3.
Mustafa picked up his 4th back with 3.5 and some change to go. He got injured with about a minute to go. Are you amazed he's still in the game and South Alabama hasn't attacked him?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a tough young man, so you knew he was going to come back. But I think that's where South Alabama has an advantage right now. I would send Franklin or Gonzalez or whoever it is right at him. Probably Franklin, I think, has the best shot at going at Mustafa and getting the shot.
There's Turbo Jones.
0 points.
7 assists, though.
Yeah.
Wow. 5 rebounds, all defensive. Jones will run the point here for the Jags, knotted at 62. Mustafa playing off Franklin. Trey's too strong. Cross-court pass. Here's Cole from the other side. Franklin with the rebound. Franklin 1 board from a double-double. 17 and 9 so far. And he's got the basketball here to Alexander. An open Jones. Under 3 minutes to play in the overtime now. Still 62 apiece. 1 bucket apiece so far since the end of regulation. Gonzalez, a cheap foul up high. That will be free throws for Coastal Carolina. Gonzalez's first personal foul.
Well, that's what's amazing. We're in overtime, really almost halfway through overtime, and only 17 fouls apiece. That is not a misprint on the scorebook. Hasn't been a lot of fouls on this one.
Coastal Carolina, one of those other stats we mentioned earlier, only 2 offensive rebounds. Mustafa's kind of picked his spots not to commit too many fouls because he's been in trouble for a while with 4. Here's the front end. It's good. Clutch free throw by Abrima Diba. Came in a 79% free throw shooter.
And this attempt will only be the 6th team attempt for Coastal Carolina at the free throw line.
Diba goes 2 for 2, and he's got 8 for the game. Coastal Carolina by a bucket. Jags had a 2-point lead at the half, 12-point lead 8 minutes into the game. Largest lead for the shots, 7, which came in the second half. Free throw line, Franklin. Shot clock at 9, and he lost it. Did it go off the leg of Mustafa? And it looks like it did.
And Franklin looks like he's just tired, doesn't he? I mean, he's played a lot of minutes. 3 so far.
Ooh. Yeah,
just
on
went
the
off
back of the right calf.
Yep, that back leg.
Smith dumps it down. Alexander, our first and 1 of the game. He can take the lead for South Alabama.
Once again, Alexander coming up big late this one. Good feed there by Deontay Smith. And Anderson the up and under with the foul. And he'll go to the free throw line as Alex Anderson. He's 2 for 4 so far from the line tonight.
Yeah, came in 53% of this drive. And the righty kicked out. Knotted at 64. Popped out, big miss inside. South Alabama, maybe their biggest defensive rebound of the game, perhaps.
The Jags out of timeouts. Coastal has 1 left.
Longest run for South Alabama was 8. There was a 9-0 run for Coastal Carolina earlier. Shot clock at 9. Franklin tried to follow his own miss. Turbo Jones, a wild shot that banks in. That's his first bucket. And it gives the Jags a 2-point advantage.
That's a heck of a time to put your first 2 points in.
South Alabama just 1 of their last 7. And Jones gets 1. Cole ducks under. Blocked from behind by Franklin. Mustafa. That was on the rim. That was on the rim, and they're going to count it. Could be falling out and against the backboard, and South Alabama's going to play on. Tied at 66. Under a minute now. What a game going down to the wire. We're in overtime into Franklin. He'll lean in on Mustafa. Jones. He'll go to the line. That would be 4 on Lakai. It's instead on Deba.
Let's take a look at that tip in again. Wasn't off the rim. You had Mustafa with the rebound, misses it. And now did it come off the cylinder? Oh, yeah.
Half the ball is over the cylinder.
Pretty close.
I think if it hit the backboard coming off, I don't know.
Doesn't matter now, though.
Yeah, play on. It's a good one. The Classic 4. The winner would face the winner of the Fresno State Southern Utah for the championship. And the roll. Turbo Jones, first trip to the line. That's 3 for him. 7 assists, 6 rebounds for the Auburn transfer.
That game Thursday, the championship game will either be in Mobile or in Conway, South Carolina.
He makes them both. Jags by 2. Coastal Carolina has to come 94 feet. Waiting to touch it is Williams. Calls his play and picks it up at midcourt. Mustafa rolled the bucket. It was too far from the ball. 33 seconds remaining. Jumper from the elbow, no good. Shot clock's off. They're following Jones, who just hit 2 free throws. They don't want to send the same guy to the line. He's trapped. 10-second violation. Now they're pointing on the floor at Turbo Jones, who just hit the deck right in front of Cliff Ellis.
I thought Jones had actually traveled first, but either way, it's a 10-second violation, and it'll be Coastal Carolina basketball. But South Alabama had no timeouts, so no recourse there.
The back official, which is our crew chief, put 10 seconds or 10 fingers in the air. Looked pretty clean from there.
And see, that's where I thought he took the extra step.
Then he gets assaulted.
But either way, the 10-second count hit before all of that did.
Correct.
And now Coastal will have a chance to either tie it or take the lead.
And here's where Coastal Carolina's been effective. Effective with 14 points off 14 Jag turnovers, but have only allowed 8 Jag points off 15 shot turnovers. And here's the game coming up. Southern Utah and Fresno State on ESPN Plus in the Classic 4.
That thing will tip off in exactly 3 minutes on ESPN Plus. So watch that game after you watch this one. This is going to be a heck of an ending.
The game Thursday night will also be on ESPN Plus. Tip time may vary depending on who hosts. Is it Eastern time zone or is it Central time zone? Chanticleers or Jaguars. And it is Coastal Carolina ball. The trigger will be Rudy Williams right in front of his bench. A 3 to take the lead. A 2 to force a second overtime. Shot clock off. 10 seconds remaining. Diva with the basketball ahead of Alexander. Backing it out with the right hand. Over Shirley. He got it! My goodness, with 1 second remaining. Rudy Williams. His first 3 of the game. It's heaved, and Coastal Carolina is heading to the Classic 4 championship.
What a shot by Rudy Williams. Unbelievable.
He'll finish with 17. His only 3 was good. He went 8 for 10 from the floor. What a great game for a semifinal. We hope the next one's just as good for you. And Coastal Carolina will play on. I'm JD Byers for Pat Greenwood saying so long from the Mitchell Center in Mobile, Alabama. Coastal Carolina 69, the Jaguars 68. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.